Do you ever get called anal or anally retentive, or do you sometimes call somebody else one of those things, but then you think, what does this have to do with bottoms? Yes, I've absolutely made sure that things are done properly, that I've paid attention to the detail of the things in the world, and now you're saying you're calling me something to do with my arse. Like, I don't... What the what? When we use the phrase anal, or, well, not phrase, the word anal, or the phrase anally retentive to describe someone, we're basically saying that they care too much. Typically, we use these words in a pejorative or insulting way, light-hearted insulting way. As an example, you might say, I can't think of an example, to be honest, because I've never really used it to describe other people, because I really value detail or detail-oriented people. It would generally be a term that someone would use to describe me, in which case I probably wouldn't hear that because they would be saying it somewhere over there, right? They would probably say something like, I just don't understand. How can Tim, an anally retentive arse, actually write handwriting that is barely legible even to himself? To which I have no reply. But why in the name of cheese do we say this? I really should say that more often, in the name of cheese. I could shake my fist at the heavens like, in the name of cheese! Homework for everybody, go and say it in a sentence to somebody and with a straight face, no mention of it, don't explain it. So why do we say anally retentive? Now, sometimes I can be described as a little bit innocent, maybe a little bit behind the door, and sometimes I'm described as naive, which is a word I can't spell. My first thought when I started doing the research on this is that maybe it's derived from the word analytical, because of course analytical has anal at the beginning of it, or annal, which of course it isn't derived from that. Analytical goes back through Latin and then Greek and then to even older roots than that, and essentially means to dissolve or to uncover or to make clear. I even thought at the beginning of the word, the ana bit might have the same root as the ana bit at the beginning of anal, but it doesn't either. The ana in analytical, actually, it's as a word particle, goes back to a root meaning backwards or against or up, which means it's a homophone of the ana at the beginning of anal, as is the, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. You see, the root of the word anal is, of course, anus, and that word goes back to the Latin, anus. And that word means basically only one thing, which is ring. Ring. That's why the ringed worm set of species, or the, what's the other word? The segmented worm set of species, or phylum, is called the annelids, which literally means little ring. So that's the etymology of the various doing parts of that particular phrase, but what does it actually, where does the phrase actually come from? If it doesn't come from analytical, where does it actually come from? Well, I'm afraid we have to go and pay a visit to that cocaine-swallowing psychoanalyst, Sigmund Freud. Freud believed that there were 3 stages within a child's psychosexual development. These were oral, anal, and phallic, anal being the second one, which is what this particular phrase is named after. So in the second stage of the psychosexual development of a child, what happens is that if... Are you ready for this? I hope you're not eating. Is that while heading through the anal stage, a child begins to develop erogenous pleasure from pooing. They take joy in having a really good poo. Now, if the child is made to feel bad about that for any reason, i.e. the poo is taken away and they want to see more of the poo, or they are having a poo and they're enjoying it but someone makes them feel bad about enjoying the poo, or if the poo doesn't look right and an adult takes the mick out of them for that, then this can lead to them being stuck in the anal stage, which then develops into, in adulthood, anally retentive behaviour. The child covets the poo, and then the adult covets the details. Now, this theory has been largely discredited in the modern world thanks to research and patience and scientific rigour, so you'll be happy to know that this is bollocks. If you're a detail-oriented adult, then, you might have a fixation on poo, maybe you do, I'm not really sure, but there is no proven link, so don't worry. So then it made its way into popular culture, which frankly is the most fascinating part of all of this research, and it always happens with this kind of research, is that what you do is you look up a phrase or a meaning of something and you realise that almost all of us walk around talking words of which we don't know the actual meaning of, that almost all language as we speak it is probably just contextual, i.e. we only have a contextual understanding of it. So we go, well, in this kind of moment when this sort of thing is happening, then I might use the word sublime or I might use the word beautiful without actually knowing what the actual meaning of that word is. Or someone who has good attention to detail, you might say they are anally retentive without actually knowing what it means. You just sort of go around talking in context. Isn't that amazing? I find that amazing. If you're watching this on Instagram, then go over to YouTube and you'll find a full library of some of the other videos that I've done. Some of them are okay. And if you are watching this on YouTube, then go over to Instagram and give me a follow. I might do something interesting at some point. Probably not. Either way, take care of yourselves.